Netherton Daily Chronicle, Evening Edition, July the 7th, 1925. Good evening, dear listeners. Edmund Pruitt, addressing you as the village clock strikes 6 on this Tuesday, which has brought both archaeological triumph and the most delightful demonstration of youthful courtesy to our peaceful community. The day has maintained its promised favourable conditions throughout, with temperatures remaining pleasantly moderate, as Mr. Higgins predicted. The gentle westerly breeze persisted until approximately 4:30, when it yielded to what Mrs. Pemberton describes as perfect evening tranquillity, entirely befitting the conclusion of such a momentous day of discovery. The archaeological expedition to the ancient stone circle atop Raven's Tor has returned with remarkable success, having exceeded all expectations for both scholarly achievement and exemplary conduct. I am delighted to report that today's expedition proved a triumph in every conceivable way. Mrs. Margaret Whitmore, despite her years, demonstrated remarkable vigor throughout the adventure, graciously supervising what young Mr. Willoughby described as the most well-behaved assembly of young scholars one could possibly imagine. The distinguished lady was observed throughout the day, expressing considerable gratitude for the thoughtful accommodations provided by his ingenious wheeled conveyance, noting that it allowed her to witness every discovery while enjoying the countryside's natural splendour. The children's conduct throughout the expedition exceeded even the most optimistic expectations, with each young participant competing to demonstrate the finest qualities of courtesy and consideration. Master Henry Blackwood, having requested permission to join today's archaeological adventure after yesterday's woodland success, demonstrated such thoughtful guidance that Mrs. Whitmore remarked he possessed the natural instincts of a countryside gentleman. Miss Beatrice was observed being offered the finest vantage points for viewing each discovery, with Master Oliver Thornfield ensuring she received detailed explanations of every archaeological feature. The Primrose twins presented their botanical findings with scholarly precision, while deferring graciously to their visitors' observations. Young Miss Charlotte Hartwell shared her pressing techniques with generous enthusiasm. Constable Porter, young Mr. Willoughby, and Miss Olive Allingham expressed unanimous pride in the children's exceptional behaviour. Miss Allingham was heard observing, "I couldn't be more proud of how wonderfully these children have behaved. They've been so thoughtful and kind, showing the very best of what makes our village so special." Mrs. Whitmore repeatedly expressed her amazement at the children's combination of scholarly enthusiasm and gracious manners, noting that such consideration for visitors shows that St. Mary Netherton continues to raise its children with the same gentle courtesy I remember from my own youth here. The expedition's archaeological discoveries proved most significant, with the ancient stone circle revealing what Master Oliver described as proper ancient secrets that we simply must write down for everyone to see. The site features weathered standing stones arranged in an ancient circular formation, with several stones displaying unusual carved markings that young Miss Rosalind Ashford documented with careful sketches. Miss Beatrice discovered what appeared to be fragments of ancient pottery near the circle's eastern edge, while the twins identified several wildflower specimens thriving among the stones, including what Miss Daisy described as beautiful clusters of wild thyme and distinctive yellow tormentil blossoms. Most excitingly, young Master Frederick Willoughby observed what he described with considerable excitement as lots of little furry animals running about near the stones. The tiny creatures, identified by Miss Allingham as common shrews, were noted for their characteristic pointed noses and energetic foraging behaviour. Master Edmund provided detailed observations of their activities, noting that they didn't seem scared of us at all and were ever so busy looking for their dinner. perhaps most thrilling for Colonel Weatherby's continued ornithological interests, Miss Caroline Fieldstone spotted what she breathlessly described as a really pretty bird with special patterns sitting right on top of the biggest stone. Miss Allingham identified the specimen as a wheatear, a species she noted as uncommon in our immediate vicinity. Miss Caroline's careful description, complete with sketches of the bird's colouring and posture, has been preserved for Colonel Weatherby's review, with the young lady expressing eager anticipation for his expert confirmation of her observation. While the children were away on their grand adventure, their parents discovered the unexpected pleasure of a remarkably quiet day. Mrs. Wilson confided to Mrs. Crawford that the peaceful afternoon allowed for contemplative household tasks that are usually impossible with such energetic young people about, while Mr. Fieldstone was observed completing garden work with unusual serenity. However, all parents expressed profound joy upon their children's return, with the expedition's success bringing evident satisfaction to the entire community. Mrs. Dorothy Ashworth, deeply moved by the extraordinary kindness shown to her loved ones, insists that the only fitting response to such thoughtful care is to share her treasured family recipes with each household. The lady will prepare her renowned seed cake, a cherished recipe passed down through generations, for each family that contributed to making both dear Margaret and young Miss Beatrice feel so thoroughly welcomed. Mrs. Ashworth confides that such generosity of spirit deserves recognition through the sharing of family traditions, and she anticipates spending the remainder of the week in pleasant baking endeavours. Young Miss Beatrice has announced her intention to compose a detailed letter to her parents in Bath, describing not only the day's archaeological discoveries, but particularly the exceptional kindness demonstrated by every resident. "I must tell Mother and Father how wonderfully kind everyone has been to us," she confided to her great-aunt, "and that coming here has been the most perfectly lovely adventure I could ever imagine." Mrs. Barnes's leghorn hen produced its customary afternoon egg, maintaining what Dr. Peterson now considers remarkable consistency despite the community's excitement surrounding such significant archaeological and social achievements. The bird was observed conducting its evening constitutional with what Mrs. Barnes interprets as dignified satisfaction, perhaps sensing the successful conclusion of our young resident's scholarly adventure. Watson continued his professional supervision throughout the day, having been observed conducting what Mrs. Hartley characterizes as expedition support duties, including the careful monitoring of refreshment preparations for the adventurer's return. The tea room's cooling cordials and sustaining provisions proved most welcome upon the party's arrival, with Mrs. Whitmore expressing particular appreciation for Watson's attentive oversight of the service. That concludes our evening report. This is Edmund Pruitt bidding you good night from St. Mary, Netherton, where Tuesday draws to a close with the profound satisfaction of archaeological discoveries achieved, scholarly friendships flourished, and community spirit demonstrated through the exceptional conduct of our young residents and the generous hearts of their families.